Okay, so here's the garden tour. Start off with the mint patch, pretty much in the middle of the yard. Hopefully it's not too crazy, but I have a feeling I have to dig up at least the spearmint and relocate it because it is so vigorous. But we got peppermint here and it's growing now. Even just after the snow, there's a little bit of green down there. And then it looks like, oh yeah, it's growing a little bit on the orange mint side too. It's just mostly underneath the stuff. So there's orange mint here, which is pretty cool. It's not too minty, but a lot more of a citrusy flavor. So that's something I'm gonna chop up all these anyway and move them around, or put them in pots and give people, maybe sell some mint plants. There's gonna be tons of them. And then we'll go over to the main garden here. And I'm about to take down these big old tomato towers. These are what I use for tomato cages. They'd go all the way to the top of them. But I'm gonna do something different this year. Need to do some weeding. Oh, there's a shovel right there. Put some coffee filters down over some weeds, but I'm gonna cover this all with some wood chips. But there's a blue dwarf curly kale, red Russian kale. I believe that was a store-bought celery, the butt end of it that we cut off, and I'll throw them out here sometimes. So those grow if you throw them out, just like basically throw it out like a little plant. And you could do that with lettuce too, but I had a green leaf over here that didn't make it. But here's a couple thyme bushes, some chives. They're starting to grow. They died back in the colder weather, but now they're just getting eaten by something, probably slugs. Wait, those are chives. These are garlic chives. They're just starting smaller plant. And then there's the skeletons of peppers and different things. Big old tomato over there, but I've been leaving them. I pretty much always leave them till I start planting and mulching more. I mulched once earlier this year, but it's starting to eat away. But if anyone mulches knows, you just gotta keep doing it every few months. But here's the red kale. Got garlic growing. I didn't plant any of this. It was just here. Well, I harvested a bunch. I got a whole big bag of it actually, and this is what was left over. Kind of like potatoes in the other garden. Here's a dinosaur kale with slugs on it. Bugger. I need to go through and get slugs too. Oh, and there's little baby ones too, if they don't get eaten too fast. There's a little baby red Russian kale. But probably came from one of the same plants as these ones came from. And every once in a while they'll just pop up too. A lot of these plants are volunteers. This one's not. This is triple curly parsley. So some of these aren't weeds. I believe this is the other. I had two bunches of the garlic chives. So there's another bunch. I basically broke it up, I believe. Or I broke it up before and had two different ones. And then there's thyme and a couple herbs here and there, mostly thyme. Oh, and here's a Swiss chard. And there's beets in there that were pretty much dead looking, but they're, where were they? There's some over here somewhere, but there's ones over here too. Probably more impressive ones. You can see them there. I just let them go for the seed at this point. There should have been seeds already over on the other side. But maybe they're just gonna sprout later when it gets warmer. But you can see the border there where the weeds get to, but inside the garden, it's not too much grass or any other weeds. Over there, the vines are bad. Oh, and here's me building on and adding on and doing different things. Like here's the weed barrier. I'm gonna put more mulch over this in the walkway, and then got kind of a compost that I'm not working on, but working on. I need to turn it a lot more or those weeds are gonna be bad. But this is all from weeds from here this summer. And then this is another add-on. I'm gonna work around and got more wood to work with, so I gotta go find a little bit more to finish it off. I'll put wood chips all along here and fill in the rest. And this is kind of how it works. And then you can kind of see what I do with the cardboard there. I put stuff on top, and then usually the weeds aren't this bad. I think this is from, this must have got seeds on top. But most of it's pretty weed free. Grass will grow through a little bit. Big old thyme plant on the end. And this is kind of the more herb side when it was summer, and I'm gonna continue that. Hopefully have a big ring of herbs around the whole garden. Thyme everywhere, it grows great. And those are coffee filters that look like little, whatever you wanna. Now we'll walk over to this other garden, basically what I call my daughter's garden. She gets a little bit of free reign over here. It's kind of secondary, not a hugelkultur garden, but it was fertile soil when they dumped it. Don't know if it was just a lawn or what. I have a feeling it was a garden because there's some interesting plants in there. There's borage in there and some other interesting plants that make me think it was a garden. But I've been slowly working on it, and it's a lot weedier, and it was a grass. It was basically like lawn, half of it. So I worked on that half and still got a bit more work, and the other half was still pretty grassy. So I believe all the red leaf things you see in there are beets. Yeah, I don't think there's any Swiss chard in here. Oh, and then there's stumps that were probably the other dinosaur kale. There's the one that's practically a stump there, but that's what they should look like, and slugs all over it. Gotta deal with that soon. But the weeds are helping them hide in here too. Like there's a big old grass patch where I'm working on, I don't know if you call it compost, but it's work in progress. It's winter. And then there's strawberries in here where I'm trying to mulch and kill the grass. I move the mulch around, and hopefully those will grow good here soon. But, oh, and this is a cherry tree. This is a good cherry tree that survived. And then this is one that didn't do so well. But it looks like it might still be growing. And that's a big old zucchini that will probably grow another zucchini if I bury it. I got pumpkin buried out here too, but that's what I do is I take and basically I'll cut them in half too, but I think they're sprouting right now. Oh no, that's some sort of flower bulb that got in here somewhere. There's a couple of bulbs, so that'll be fun. See some flowers in here. I mostly do food though.